1 2 1 2. Are we live? I believe we are live. What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. And today we got a live stream. It's been a minute since I came live by myself, just talking to the great Eagle Nation. But before we do that, we got to play the intro. A lot of interesting things to talk about, to say the least, on June 21st.
This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike. Talking Sixers in the Bird Gang, that's our life. Competition, we ain't scared, yeah, that's what we like. Win or lose, you know we showing up and we gon' fight. You see we strive for the sky every day that go by. And every single week we screaming fly, Eagles fly. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah.
What is going on? Like I said, it's your boy Philly Mike, and we are back with a solo live stream so I can hear from y'all. I got a couple of things I want to touch on. Yannick Ngakoue, the linebacking core, PFF, gave us a lot of love, offensive line, defensive line, and top 10 players at their position, but they ranked our linebackers dead last. And again, who's really going to impress Pro Football Focus, not named Nakobe Dean, but we'll talk about it. But shout out to Notification Gang, Little, Trey, Slipknot, 4133 to Pod, Jonah, Fly, Eagle 17, Frederick. What's going on with y'all? Like I said, we're going to do this live instead of a recorded video, but I got some topics I want to touch on. Make sure if you're watching it now, if you're catching it on the rerun, you go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe if you are new. We do regular videos and live streams, and ding the bell so you could be like Fibbox and Fly Eagle 17 and Trey and Slipknot and be in here ASAP so you don't miss the beginning conversation, the middle, or the end. We're not going to keep you guys too long. Thank you for hitting the like button as you're coming up in here. But it's interesting, right? ESPN really believes that the Eagles should sign Yannick Ngakoue. We're going to pull that up in a little bit. I just wanted to brew a little bit, let people come in so they don't just get in mid-conversation, but I should just get started because, you know, Notification Gang, y'all rock. But it's interesting. I want to know now, just general consensus before I get into the article and whatnot. Yes or no in the chat, would you sign Yannick Ngakoue, a guy who had 9.5 sacks last year with the Colts? Would you sign him? Yes or no in the chat before we actually read the article. Dev 10, what's going on with you? Bird Gang 361 in the building. Matthew, what's up? Cody K, always dropping the muscle emoji. That's muscle emoji master right there, Cody K. Slipknot said that would be very interesting. A bunch of yeses so far. I haven't seen a no, and here comes Stu Vision with the no. And the reason to say no is because you would be worried that he would eat into Nolan Smith's time, right? Nina says, hey, Mike, what's going on with you, Nina? Appreciate you for tuning in. Again, a lot of yeses. And the more the merrier, as Howie would like to say, for pass rush. However, ain't you worried about him cutting into Nolan Smith's time? Not saying he would get a big number less, a huge amount of snaps decrease because of it, but even a little could stunt what Nolan Smith is about to do, because I do believe he's the real deal. Let's pull up this first article real quick. Shout out to everybody in the building. Let me switch it over to the article. Should have had that more ready. It's been a while since I went live on YouTube like this. Let's pull it up. Why is it moving like that? All right, here we go. I got it. Shout out to everybody for waiting. So, Eagles news. ESPN suggests one last offseason roster move for the Philadelphia Eagles, and it is, of course, Yannick Ngakoue. 9.5 sacks with the Colts last year, so he is going to give you some production, most likely. One last offseason roster move for all 32 NFL teams for ESPN. Jeremy Fowler and the Philadelphia Eagles signed defensive end Yannick Ngakoue. I know the Eagles have a premier pass rush and used their second first-round pick on Nolan Smith to further that, but let's get greedy as it pertains to a top Super Bowl contender. Waves of depth are essential for a pass rush in the NFL, and Yannick Ngakoue is a sack specialist who can provide Philly with what felt like Robert Quinn would bring when acquired last offseason or during the season. It wasn't last offseason, Jeremy Fowler. Get your facts straight. Ngakoue won't exactly come cheap, but do you think I'm worried about the Eagles finding a way to make it move work under the salary cap? He had 9.5 sacks and 29 pressures last season with the Colts. And this is a Colts defensive line that wasn't doing much. So Yannick probably got most of the double team. Yannick was probably the focal point in stopping when you look at the Colts pass rush. Who's there? We talked about the Colts being absent on defense minus Stephon Gilmore, which I'm still upset that the Cowboys got him. Hopefully he falls off a cliff. Not really, but like his game, maybe he's not as good as he was last year, blah, blah, blah. We'll see. But at the end of the day, he's saying get greedy. What happens if a BG goes down? If Nolan Smith gets nicked up for a game or two? Knock on fake wood. Matter of fact, let's knock on real wood. But this is Jeremy Fowler saying, because the Eagles are Super Bowl contenders, legit Super Bowl contenders. See, we not other teams in the NFC East that are saying we're Super Bowl contenders just because we want to say it. Like, the Eagles are legit Super Bowl contenders, so you do want to have depth. You definitely want to have depth there. Ruling the trenches, says Eagle Blitz. This said the D-line is getting good coaching as well. Tracy Rocker works with the big guys, and Jeremiah Washburn works with the edge rusher. Rocker has gotten good play from Fletch. Hargrave had a career year with him last season. Milton Williams has developed well. The big test will be to see how Davis and Carter do this year. Rocker certainly has good talent to work with. Washburn got career years from Sweat, Reddick last season. Again, when you look at the duo of Haason Reddick and Josh Sweat, that's 27 sacks. The starting edge rushers for the Philadelphia Eagles last year had 27 sacks. That had to be the best duo in the NFL. Haason Reddick just said in an interview after hosting a youth football camp, shout out to him for doing that, his fifth in Camden, there's another level I can tap into. There's another level that Haason Reddick can tap into. It's a long season, 100% Fly Parks. So, long season, Super Bowl contender. You want to have depth at the pass rush position because, other than your secondary, the premier position on the defensive side of the football is your pass rush. Lockdown corners, can never have too many. Pass rushers, you can never have too many, for the simple fact that's what gets these top-notch quarterbacks off the mark. You move them out their comfort zone. They throw a little high, throw a little low. Get hit, get flustered. All I'm saying is this. 50% of my mind says I don't want to limit at all Nolan Smith snaps because we're going to talk about him in this video. He's learning from the best. He's putting in the hard work. OTAs just ended, and he's still working. We're going to talk about all the stuff that he's been doing. I don't want to limit him, but I also don't want to get, oops, there goes Derek Barnett. Oops, there goes BG. Knock on fake wood one more time. As a Super Bowl contender, you got to cross your T's and dot your I's. This ain't a team hoping to get to the playoffs. This ain't a team hoping just to win a division. This is a team that took the long road last year and just missed it. And so you got to have depth. You do have to have depth. Look what BG did as a rotational piece, 11 sacks. Look what Fletch did as a rotational piece, 7 sacks. Look what Milton Williams did as a rotational piece, 4 sacks. He might not come cheap, but when have we ever been worried about Howie Roseman fitting a number under the cap? He can do it. He can do it for sure. Now, before we go to the next article, I do want to see what's going on in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the building. We're going to talk about Nolan Smith up next, for sure. We do got a super chat from my guy Chris Brown with the $2 donation. Let me get the Eagles chant. It's been a minute.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
Let me know in the chat if you heard that. Let me know in the chat if you heard that one more time. I don't know what I'm doing. It's been a long time.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
Should have heard it, though. He said, hey, Mike, it's been a minute. Thank you for everything. Shout out to my guy Chris Brown for tuning in. I know during the off season, we like to get busy, stay busy. So the off season goes faster, but it happens, you know. The content gets a little scarce. You got to tend to certain things. Shout out to y'all for tuning in. But again, if somebody tried to tell me, go get Yannick, I hear all the reasons why. You can never have too many pass rushers. We are Super Bowl contenders, and you don't know what's going to happen. Depth is important when you know you're a Super Bowl contender. But if someone said, man, I want to let Nolan Smith become everything he can be, I want him on the field anytime Sweat or Reddick ain't there. I want him on the field with them sometimes. I'm not mad at that either. So again, it's to me, how the Eagles play it. Now, hopefully, you know, listen, I wish he gets, I'm not wishing him not to get a job, but it would be nice if we can go in training camp and really feel out the rotation the way Nolan Smith is putting it together, because everything is pointing like terrific season coming from the Rook, but you never fully know. So I would hold off a little bit. But Jeremy Fowler of ESPN says this will be the finishing touch for the Eagles pass rush. Get it done. Yannick Ngakoue to the Philadelphia Eagles. Shout out to y'all for saying loud and clear. It's been a minute since I can play with some of my stuff. Pause on YouTube Live. Philly Fresh in the building said, yo, that, make sure to hit that like button. Yes, got 118 people in here. Let's get it close to 100 likes. Eagle has landed. Drew Johnson, what's going on with y'all? Eagle Slayer said, Chris Brown sounds familiar. It does. Fibbox says, what do you think of the Eagles' backup quarterback situation? I'm always worried about injuries. No slight on Hurts. Well, yeah, he's missed a game his first season, missed 2 games his second season. I do think that he's going to be smart. Yeah, even smart, something can happen. I'm thinking along the lines of Mariota can hold down the fort for a little bit. Again, I don't think any team is Super Bowl contending if their starting quarterback goes out for a long period of time and or the whole season. Do you think Joe Burrow being out for the whole season, somehow Cincinnati's going to get to the Super Bowl or the AFC Championship? Nope. If any of these top 7 quarterbacks get hurt for the year, you might as well pack it up until next year. There's some things you can do, but win the Super Bowl? I don't think so. Yes, Nick Foles did it. It was late in the season. He only needed to win a couple games. Now, granted, he did. Shout out to Nick. But I do think Mariota fits the play style we want to have if Hurts does miss a game or two, but he got to be smarter. And that starts with the coaching staff putting him in better positions for sure. Because that Chicago game, again, you could get hurt at any time. I could walk across the street and get hit by something. You know what I mean? Struck by lightning. But the coaching staff decision to run him in Chicago while the Bears had one of the worst defenses against the run via the running back in that cold weather, that cold ground, continuing to run them double-digit times was a horrible decision. But again, we persevered. We went to the Super Bowl, and the injury didn't affect it because Jalen Hurts went out and balled out. Let's look at this tweet from Jacob Media Sports talking about Nolan Smith. Brandon Graham has some high words for Nolan Smith. He's comparing him to Haason Reddick a little bit. Let's hear what he had to say to Jacob Media. And shout out to D Gunn and what's his name on here? Rob Ellis. D Gunn got to cross the T's, dot the I's for a date. He should be coming on an episode of GOAT Talk. It should be interesting. But let's hear from Brandon Graham on Nolan Smith. And Nolan Smith's name comes up from BG. Listen to this.
Him and what's the name though? He's like me for real. Nolan
Smith.
Yeah, Nolan already kind of, embracing it all and just enjoying just being here, man. I could see his attitude, carrying him far, just making sure that he go out there and play. That's the number one thing. You got to make sure you ball out at least. But I do love that he came in right away, just ready to work and, excited to pick our brains. And, you can tell that he really taking this serious.
That's cool. We've heard a lot of good stuff about him. And everybody says he looks bigger in person than what we were told. Yeah, you went through that too, the undersized thing, and Reddick went through it too. And now Nolan had to deal with that as well.
Yep. So, yeah, I think you know how I go. Just go out there and play. Ain't nobody going to worry about none of them measurables.
That's facts. Once you go out there and play, it doesn't matter what your combine did. But it helps that his combine was terrific. It helps that he has the instincts of an off-ball linebacker, the speed to play off-ball linebacker, while he has the pass rush skill and the run-stopping ability to be an edge, mainly in the joker position, but to still crash from the edge, stunt into the inside, and stop the run. See, we all talking about Nolan Smith getting sacks, Nolan Smith playing outside linebacker or off-ball linebacker. Do you understand how good this guy was in college versus the run? He ain't let nothing happen on his side via the run. And that was an Achilles heel of the Philadelphia Eagles last year, especially in certain games, big games, via the Super Bowl. It was an Achilles heel. BG started the video by saying Nolan Smith is like me, energy-wise, right? This kid loves football as much as BG, who's coming on, 12 years in the league? And both Haason Reddick, Brandon Graham were told that they didn't have the right measurables. They're too little. They're not able to take on multiple blocks or be chipped, right? Haason Reddick gets was scrutinized for his size and measurables. But the common goal is these guys are dogs, not just dogs from bulldogs, legit dogs. They got the will to keep going. Listen to this so far. Nolan Smith is like a fan favorite. The way he talks, the way he prepares, the way he acts. Got Eagle Nation ready to ride for him, right? You hear his speech in before the combine, right? Like the way he rides for his teammates in Georgia, the way he was a mentor to the young guys, the way he's looking up. As soon as he got to the Eagles, he said, I'm not going to call Haason Reddick right away. I'm a rook. I got to earn my stripes. I got to do what I got to do first. He'll come to me. Time will come. And Haason Reddick is now working with him. BG is working with him, saying they have similarities. And any similarities you got to Brandon Graham, I love it. BG's underrated run defender. BG's like fine wine. 11 sacks as a rotational person, a rotational pass rusher. 47% of the snaps, he got 11 sacks. That's ridiculous production. Nolan Smith has an impressive OTA, and as soon as OTAs are finished, ding, 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 go home. Does he get on the video games? Does he go out and chill? No, he goes right to Von Miller's pass rush summit. Right there. I'm ready to work. Micah Parsons, what you think about this? Von Miller, how you feel about this? And the clip that I showed you in the video, yeah, it's just him listening to Von Miller and Micah Parsons. But the clip I put in the YouTube Shorts is him actually going through motions with Von Miller, chopping it up. Von Miller looking at him and saying, bro, you got next. You got next. Von Miller was that secret weapon in the NFL, right? He was like the first one to come in and be that piece, right? Micah Parsons is the next one. Actually, Haason Reddick was a weapon when he came in too. He just was used wrong. When he came out of Temple to Arizona, in the beginning, he was used wrong. It wasn't until he got to Carolina. Now, he did have a double-digit sack season with the Cardinals, his last year with the Cardinals. But it wasn't until he got to Carolina and Matt Rule, who coached him in Temple, used him the right way. And then they started showing. And then we came to Philly and we used him exactly how he needs to be used. Now, we dropped him back a little bit too much for my liking, but we used him right, and it shows 16 sacks. Von Miller, Haason Reddick, Micah Parsons, these are that move around. Now, Haason Reddick don't move around as much as a Von Miller or Micah Parsons, but Nolan Smith is an absolute chess piece on defense, and if you're Sean Desai, you should be drawing up multiple ways to get him on the field. He needs to play 25 snaps at least. You're talking about a game, 50 to 60 snaps? You got to get him on the field for 20 snaps. Philly Trez says, see, people hate Derek Barnett as much as I do. A lot of people still do. Nolan Smith's attitude has been compared to Jalen Hurts. Like, you don't just throw that comparison out there for fun. Jalen Hurts is probably the most focused 24-year-old I ever heard of. And we're getting comparisons in Nolan Smith. So you're telling me the focus of a Jalen Hurts, the energy of a BG, and the mindset of or the skill set of a Haason Reddick? 4.3 speed, though. A faster Haason Reddick. Man, I'm telling you, between Josh Sweat getting better every single season, Nolan Smith, Haason Reddick saying there's more levels to go up, BG just sprinkling his knowledge on top of what Nolan Smith has already acquired. Nolan Smith is going to be the real deal. And when we do the draft over, because everybody does that, when people are getting ready for the 2024 NFL draft, there's going to be an article written, 2023 draft redone. Jalen Carter will not be the 9th on this picture, on this article. And Nolan Smith will absolutely not be the 30th overall pick. Both of them will go top 10. Jalen already did. He'll go higher. Jalen Carter will be in the top 5 on the redo draft where he should have went. And Nolan Smith will be like 7 to 9. I'm telling you, we got one, guys. We got one. Millie Free said, if we paid defensive ends for stupid penalties, Barnett would be a Hall of Famer. I hear you, bro. WFO said, Philly Mike, let's go. What's going on with you? Ryan Rose said, Nolan Smith continuing to play and combine with his linebacker and stop the run. Listen, Nolan Smith might be, again, what was another thing that was quoted out or that stood out about him in OTAs? He played with the first string, the second string, and the third string. Like, he didn't care who was on the field. If there was football to be played, drills to be done, reps to be taken, Nolan Smith was taking the reps. Nolan Smith would take any rep that was given to him because he's just a sponge. And everybody can say the right words. I'm listening to the veterans. I'm learning. I'm trying my best. He's not just saying it. His actions are showing it. Working with Von Miller, listening to BG, taking everything in. You know, first-round talent has an opportunity to play with the starters. He might sit back and be like, yeah, it's the third string. I don't want to be out there. I'm too good for that. Nah, Nolan Smith is just a grinder. A grinder. Shout out to my guy, Fly Eagles 17 with the $5 super chat. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
He said, does Smith and Davis or Carter have a better career than Fletch and BG? Woo. Whoo, whoo, whoo. Goosebumps on that one. Pause. That's tough. I have so much hope, and I believe so hard that we're going to get a decade of great football out of Nolan Smith, Jordan Davis, and Jalen Carter. Jordan Davis might never be the numbers guy, but he's going to be dominant. He's going to be disruptive, and he's going to be a big part of the other two eating. Philly dogs, for real. Chat, I need everybody in the chat to answer this question. Does Smith and Davis or Smith and Carter have a better career than Fletch and BG? Everybody in the chat, give us your answer on that. I'm going to say this. Listen, I know a lot of people think about what Fletch did the last 2 to 3 years, and last year he was pretty good as a rotational piece. The year before that, I thought he was really good. But that still was the tail end of his career. Like, Fletch was a top D tackle, top 2, top 3 in the NFL for multiple years. So, I mean, the upside of Carter and Smith, though, I can say, it's hard for me to say because they've been dominant for a decade and some change. And BG had his struggles in the beginning. People wanted to get rid of Brandon Graham. They wanted to get rid of him. Aged like fine wine. What he does against the run has always been overlooked. See, every time I used to hear back in the day, Fletch being compared to Aaron Donald, I said, listen, Fletch is never going to be the sack guy that Aaron Donald is. But Fletch had double-digit sacks before as a D tackle in his younger days. And Fletch was always better against the run than Aaron Donald was. Now, Fletch, in his older days, struggled a little bit against the run. But as much as I believe Brandon Graham is a Hall of Fame Eagle, Fletcher Cox is a Hall of Fame NFL player, I think Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith can climb that height. I think they can climb that height. Jordan Davis is going to be a disruptive player. I don't think he'll ever have the numbers, but they got the potential. I wholeheartedly believe in the Philly Dogs, not just because it's a cool saying, not just because I put it on a hat and a shirt, but because Howie Roseman is a step ahead, and he's taking the best college defense, and he's going to let it slow marinate in the NFL until it's the best NFL defense. And what I say that to say this, we still got veterans who are playing alongside of them, with them, secondary pieces, right? It's not, hey, y'all young boys, it's all on you, no. But to let them sit behind the guys like Fletch and BG and Haason Reddick, and then you get a guy like Ringo to sit behind Bradbury and Slay. Like, this is going to be a trend. 2-3 years from next draft, the draft after that, you're going to see certain teams target one school and say, we want to bring this school philosophy to our organization. You're going to see it happen. The Eagles just jumped ahead. It's a great question. Great question. Tough to answer. I don't want to slight Fletch and BG at all, but I do believe wholeheartedly in what we're going to get from these Philly Dogs for sure. And listen, the link is in the description. I mean, the pinned comment section. Hit that like button. We need 6 more likes to get to 100. Can we get 6 more likes? I know we got some MVPs in the chat, like Jalen Hurts. MVPs in the chat. We need 6 more likes. I know we can get it. I want to read the last article, though, before we talk a little bit more. Again, we started this video talking about Yannick Ngakoue. 9.5 sacks with the Colts. Should we sign him? ESPN says yes. Some of y'all say no. We don't want to stunt Nolan Smith's growth. Some of y'all saying, hey, we need that depth. Better than Derek Barnett. The second one was Nolan Smith. We talked about what Brandon Graham said. He's working with Haason Reddick. He's working with BG. He's working with Von Miller. We just played that clip, so if you're getting here and you want to hear what BG said, again, he pretty much said Nolan Smith already is kind of embracing it all. Just join being here. I can see his attitude will carry him far. BG said BG said he sees a lot of Nolan Smith. He sees a lot of himself in Nolan Smith. I couldn't say it. But the last one I want to talk about is PFF nearly ranked the Philadelphia Eagles linebacking unit dead last in the NFL. We're not last. We're 31st. Let's hear what they say. Now, again, PFF said the Eagles have 8 players at their position in the top 10. That the Eagles have the number 1 offensive line and the number 1 defensive line going into the 2023 season. They said all that. But now they say this. So the picture shows Nakobe Dean, and rightfully so. He got to be the savior, unless Howie Roseman makes a move. Unless Nolan Smith, when he's not rushing the passer, goes back and plays off-ball linebacker. I think that 4.39 speed will translate from side to side. I really do think it will translate from side to side. But anyways, the 2023 NFL linebacker unit ranking, San Francisco 49ers claimed the top spot for the second consecutive year per PFF. At number 31 out of 32 teams, the Philadelphia Eagles. It will be hard to judge the Eagles linebackers until we see them in action. Last year, starters T.J. Edwards and Kaiser White left in free agency and left the Eagles with a huge hole in the middle of their defense. Nicholas Morrow enters the fold as the only player with significant experience, but he graded above 54 in just one of his 5 seasons in the NFL. Former third-round pick Nakobe Dean looks to establish himself as the new leader of the Philadelphia Eagles defense. There are concerns about his small stature and health in a full-time role. But the Eagles won't know what they have until he plays. Dean put up first-round production in college, so he'll aim to prove the doubters wrong while playing alongside several former Bulldog teammates. Again, this guy needs to work out for the Philadelphia Eagles. But I will say this. Nicholas Morrow graded 54 or better on a PFF grading scale only 1 out of 5 seasons. He wasn't given the other opportunities. One season was hurt. I do think I'm big on the fact that if your defense is good around you, you can benefit from that. Because sometimes playing on a suspect defense, not having the athleticism to do everything you want to do, you try to help out a teammate and it makes your grade look worse. You miss your responsibility trying to help out a fellow teammate. But when you look to the left and see, oh, in my zone, Slay's behind me, I feel better. If you look up front and see the Philly dogs, you see Fletch, you see Haason Reddick, and you know that quarterback only has 3 seconds, 2.5 seconds to get the ball out their hand, you can now jump routes better. You can now stick with your target, right? You got to guard this tight end. Nakobe Dean, Nicholas Morrow is guarding the slot for some reason, guarding the tight end for some reason, matched up with a running back for some reason, and the pass rush don't get home. Well, now they got to guard that running back, tight end, or slot receiver for 4 seconds. They ain't guarding nobody for 4 seconds at the linebacker position. But if the pass rush gets home and or forces the ball to come out early, now Nicholas Morrow, Nakobe Dean, or whoever at the linebacker position only got to cover him for a second and a half, 2 seconds. So the guy can't get a step on him because the play is sped up. I think that's going to help our linebackers. And Christian Ellis has the Cinderella story formulating like a TJ Edwards. I'm not saying he's TJ Edwards, but TJ was undrafted. Christian Ellis was undrafted. Christian Ellis sat behind linebackers. TJ Edwards sat behind linebackers. Year 3, 4, TJ Edwards got a chance. Year 3, Christian Ellis might get a chance. We'll see. Special team ace, heard good things. We will find out. But I will say this. Davion Taylor has the linebacking coach that he had in Colorado. When the Eagles drafted Davion Taylor in the 3rd round off of potential, there was a linebacker coach by the name of DJ Elliott. I almost forgot our linebacker coach for linebackers. Can't talk now. Almost forgot our linebacker coach name. Anyways, DJ Elliott. He's there. Davion Taylor's in his 4th season. As a 3rd round pick, you don't get a 5th-year option. If he can't start, if he doesn't play, if he's not productive, he's not a Philadelphia Eagle. Now, last year with injuries, we put him on the practice squad a lot. This year, he's going to have an opportunity to play. The door's open. Nakobe Dean is sitting in the first seat of the linebacker position, but the second one is a 3-man race. Actually, some of y'all like Ben Van Sumera, and I knew I messed his name up. Y'all be telling me his name, and then I get it. I don't talk about it for a while, and I forget it. Some of y'all like Ben. Some of y'all like Ben Van Sumera. All right, I'm not saying his name. We're just going to call him Ben. But I think it's a 3-man race for linebacker 2. Nicholas Morrow, Davion Taylor, and Christian Ellis. Let's pull up the YouTube chat, see what y'all talking about. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. True Savage in the building said Dean is going to ball out. Jolo Mag said Nolan will be the best pick of the 2023 draft class. And listen, I love Jalen Carter, but I wouldn't put it past. Do I believe Carter's going to be an absolute dog too? Yes. But I do not know who's going to have the better career in Carter or Smith, because they should have been drafted closer. But the NFL done messed up. Again, when we redo the draft, when the article is written by the NFL, this guy should have been drafted here, here, here. When they do the switch, right? Like, Micah Parsons was drafted in 11. Now when they did the redraft, I think he went top 3. When they do that redraft, watch where Nolan Smith goes. Trey, what's going on with you? WFO said Weeks' idea is still needed. A week? I don't know what that meant. My bad, dog. Cody K in the building with the muscle emojis. Let me know y'all thoughts. We've been live for about 38 minutes. Live for about 38 minutes. We talked about Nakobe Dean and the linebackers being 31st by PFF. We talked Nolan Smith, how he's working with BG, Haason, Reddick, and doing all the right things. And the players love him. The fans love him. The coaching staff loves him. And then we also talked about Yannick Ngakoue, 9.5 sacks. Sign him. Maybe he takes snaps away from Nolan Smith. Don't sign him. Maybe we need him later in the season if somebody does get banged up. When you are a Super Bowl contender, you can never have too much depth. As a young team that's not shooting for the stars, too much depth is a problem. You got to see the young guys. You got to know what you have. But when you're in a Super Bowl window, depth is needed in case of injury, in case of hiccup, in case somebody does something wrong. Weak side linebacker is still sus. I hear you. Again, Christian Ellis, Davion Taylor, Nicholas Morrow, they're all unknown entities. Nicholas Morrow played a little bit in the NFL with the Raiders and the Bears, but there's a lot of unknown at that position. Even Nakobe Dean's unknown. Although, again, winning the Buckus Award, being the general of the best defense in college football, I don't put that to the wayside. I keep that right there as a big reason why he's going to succeed. But depth is important. Frederick said wide receiver depth worries me. An injury there could hurt. I'm still a big believer in Quez Watkins. I think Olamide Zaccheaus brings a different element to the slot that we don't have with Quez. But yeah, I still look at Dallas Goedert as a receiving weapon. Maybe if there would be an injury at the wide receiver position, knock on fake wood, real wood, however you say it, I think Nick Sirianni and the coaching staff would have to draw up more receiving routes for Dallas Goedert. Spread them out at times. Play the X. Should be interesting. Twitch said, I like our team's depth. We can't have all-stars everywhere. This ain't Madden. I hear you. But I don't think you can. There's certain positions you can never have too much, right? Wide receivers, you can have too many because only 3 can play. If one gets hurt, yeah, it's good to have some depth there, but still, all right? But pass rush, keep your guys fresh so when they are on the field, you're getting their most production. You're not getting a guy who's rushing the passer, half-gassed. You're getting a guy who's at 95% or above every snap because of the rotation. So pass rusher, offensive lineman, cornerback. These are positions you can never have too many. I believe. I believe you could never have too many corners, pass rushers, and offensive linemen. Wide receivers, you can get a little scarce. We never had so many linebackers, so I don't know how that feels. Jason Blaze, what's going on with you? Chris said, what do you think about our depth at O-line? Also, Yannick, sign him up now. Our 2017 Eagles team, we had Torrey Smith sitting on the bench. He played a part even if it was only a couple plays. He wasn't sitting on the bench, I don't believe. I like the offensive line depth. I think Jack Driscoll is an overlooked, underrated piece who's never really got a chance because he's always banged up as well. But when you look at the O-line, and now you drafted Tyler Steen, you still got Cam Jurgens. I believe in Jack Driscoll. I think you have some pieces to be your, swing tackle, swing offensive lineman, to where someone gets hurt so he can come in and play. I've seen Driscoll play guard and tackle, so I like the depth there. But Torrey Smith, I believe, was a starter. I thought it was Alshon at the X, Torrey Smith as the Y, and Nelson Aguilar in the slot. That man 101 said, anything on Devin Allen? Nothing. He's been reported working with the rookies at OTAs, at minicamp. He's trying to get on the field. He's trying to get every rep that's possible that the Eagles allow, but I don't know. He hasn't turned heads. I mean, I don't understand how he doesn't, I think if we're talking upgrade the Eagles, I would like the return game to be upgraded, and I just don't understand why Devin Allen can't get on the field for at least that. Drew Johnson, channel member, said any talk about Kyron Johnson at linebacker? I haven't heard much. I know that he's also that Nolan Smith, Haason Reddick type. Not saying he's in that category of pass rusher, but he's more of your pass rushing linebacker, stand-up joker that can rush. Not really a drop-back guy. But Kyron Johnson been hanging around this roster, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do and how they use him, if they use him in a rotation. 803 Hitman said linebacker depth kind of worries me. I hope Ellis works out for us. That would be a big deal. Hey, 803 Hitman, we talked, I don't know if you probably just getting in here, but we read the article of PFF grading us 31st at the linebacker position, and I can't get mad at them for doing it because of the unknown factor, but Christian Ellis does have a similar feel to the TJ Edwards story. I'm not saying we're going to get TJ Edwards last year and Christian Ellis this year, But TJ Edwards, undrafted, sat behind some bums. Nathan Gary, Alex Singleton, who's playing better with the Denver Broncos. But then he got his chance to start and played well and then played better. Christian Ellis, undrafted, special team ace, 2 years behind linebackers. Not bums, because TJ Edwards is not a bum. Either is Kaiser White. Now he might get his chance. That's why I'm a little excited about the linebacker. It's nervous excitement, but there is some excitement. Davion Taylor has shown flashes with his 4.3 speed, his tackling, that man, if he puts it together, you might have a player. He got his linebacker coach that coached him in Colorado. It's year 4. It's his last year with the Eagles. Do or die for Davion Taylor. The door is open for Christian Ellis. Nicholas Morrow, who's decent, has a better defense behind him now than the Chicago Bears, so he can focus on his role more. So again, I'm not saying to you, Davion Taylor, Christian Ellis, and Nicholas Morrow, one of them are going to be great. But I'm saying there's possibility in each one. And because there's a small possibility in each one, and they are in competition with each other, I think that bang, bang, bang. Them all seeing, hey, last year, Davion Taylor, Christian Ellis were sitting on the Eagles roster like, no way I'm going to start. They got TJ Edwards, he's starting. They traded for Kaiser White, or they signed Kaiser White, and they drafted Nakobe Dean. Yep, I'm not starting. Now Davion Taylor saying, hold up, this is my last chance. I'm healthy, finally. There's a legit opening at linebacker, too. Let me go get it. And same with Christian Ellis. Same with Nicholas Morrow. He just wasn't saying it last year because he wasn't here last year. But I do like the possibility of them. I don't know who's going to rise to the top. But when you have 3 guys and you only need really one to rise, because the Eagles are going to play a lot of nickel, a lot of dime. That's just the way the NFL is going. So there's not going to be packages where there's 3 linebackers out there a lot. You got guys like Terrell Edmonds, Reed Blankenship, who can play in the box at the safety position, which simulates a linebacker. And I do think they're going to flirt with Nolan Smith a little bit, off-ball linebacker. I think his main priority is going to be rush the passer. Philly dog, go get him. But I do believe there's going to be opportunities for him to track down running backs, tight ends, off-ball, and if he thrives, then he can stay on the field even more. Like, if Nolan Smith can play the off-ball linebacker position like I think he can, well, now you're talking about, well, how are we going to get Nolan Smith on the field? Let's get him week 1. You see Nolan Smith, 15 snaps, and every time he's on the field, he rushes the passer. Nolan Smith, by week 3, playing off-ball linebacker. Well, now he's playing 45 snaps, 80% of the snaps. Because he's rushing, he's off ball. He's rushing, he's off ball. He's rushing. So I'm telling you, we could see a lot of Nolan. And I hope we do. Shout out to my guy, Warv, with the $4.99 super chat. Let me hear it.
EAGLES Eagles!
My guy, Warv, said, man, if Quez can get out of that slump this year, we're going to be scary again this year. I think regardless if Quez gets out of the slump, we're going to be scary because the element of DeAndre Swift was needed. Last year, the Philadelphia Eagles were in last place in checkdowns, last place in running back receiving yards. Jalen Hurts checked down the ball 3.4% of the time. 3.4% of the time we checked it down, which let the defense play off, which helped our run game. But the success the Eagles had with Jalen Hurts throwing across the middle, the success we had throwing deep, you add the element of checkdowns to Kenny G and DeAndre Swift. It makes the defense all discombobulated because we were stopping the long ball. We were trying to watch the middle. We were, spying against Jalen Hurts. But where did this guy come from? But I do understand you, Warv. 4.3 speed. Quez Watkins is one of the 10 fastest guys in the NFL. If that translates to catching the ball, what do you call it? Tracking the ball, catching the ball. Another element to another element to another element. This Eagles offense was top 3 in the NFL. It didn't get worse. It only got better by having a check down weapon, by understanding it's do or die, by just having Jalen Hurts come again, even stronger. A.J. Brown more comfortable in this system. I can't wait to see it. Spa City Chop said he did start. I'm not sure where that was from. R Star said, I believe in Reed and Sidney Brown. Let me know. Before we get out of here, I want to ask y'all a question. When push come to shove, week 1, who's the 2 starting safeties? I'm starting to firmly believe that Terrell Edmunds is going to get 1. I think that his 5 years with the Steelers shows he deserves it. Well, again, even if he showed he deserves it, he got to go earn it. There's no just giving. Not from me, not from the Eagles. But I think Terrell Edmunds is going to win 1 spot. Let me know your take on the 2 starting safeties. Now, mind you, the Eagles like to play big nickel. And by playing big nickel, you keep 3 safeties on the field. And by playing big nickel, you take a linebacker off, you put a safety on. So if you got Nakobe Dean and the mystery linebacker 2, Taylor, Ellis, Morrow, then you got Reed Blankenship, Sidney Brown, and Terrell Edmunds. That's going to be my favorite defense. Edmunds, Blankenship, Brown with 2 linebackers, 2 corners, blah, blah, blah. But let me know. 2 starting safeties, week 1. Reed, Blankenship, Sidney Brown, Terrell Edmunds. Give me 2 of them. I'm going to read them off after we read my guy, Witch, King of Agmar's $2 super chat.
EAGLES Eagles!
Let's see if we can get 150 likes. We need about what we need. We need 29 more likes. I'm lying. We need 19 more likes to get to 150. Help your boy out. Witch King said, how big of a role you think Edmunds will have? I think we're going to use Edmunds as the box safety. I think he's going to be right around the line of scrimmage at times, play in the box next to the linebackers. I think you're going to see him be a tackling machine. And I do think he's coming away. Bold take. He's had 2 seasons out of his 5-year career with 2 sacks from the safety position. I think this season he gets 3 sacks. 3 sacks from the safety position. I believe we're going to utilize him. And when he is utilized, he gets home. I think he blitzed 9 times last year. He had 2 sacks and 7 hurries. I lied. 2 sacks, 6 hurries. So out of 9 opportunities getting at the quarterback, he hurried him 6 times, didn't do nothing 1 time, and sacked him twice. I think his role is going to be huge, especially if we do not sign another linebacker. Let's just say Howie doesn't sign a linebacker. Nolan Smith does not play off ball. If we go into the season, Nolan Smith, you're not playing off ball that much. We didn't sign another linebacker. Christian Ellis, Davion Taylor, and Nicholas Morrow, you got to be the guys. Edmunds' role is going to be huge in the box because he can play the run, he can tackle, he can cover, and he's that safety that can be that hybrid. He can, and so I think that Edmunds' role is going to be big. But let me hear what y'all say as it pertains to the safety position. Fly Parks, Reed and Edmunds, Eagle Slayer, Edmunds and Blankenship. Random, Blankenship and Edmunds, Spa, Torrey Smith did start. Oh, that's what you were saying. And that's what I thought so. It was Smith and Alshon on the outsides, and Aguilar. I said Aguilar on the inside. Eddie Holmes, Brown, and Battleship. WFO said, I don't know. Pete said 2 starting safeties. What? Frederick said Reed and Edmunds. 803 Hitman said Edmunds and Reed week 1. Rip City said Blankenship and Edmonds. Second half of the season, Blankenship and Brown. Now, look, Edmonds might get beat out later in the season, but listen, remember, Edmonds is only 26. He's not an old head. If Terrell Edmonds plays the 1 year like I believe he's going to, he can knock out a 3-year deal with the Eagles. He's 26 years old. By the end of the season, he'll be 27. You sign him to a 3-year deal, you get him his final glory days. Jolo said Edmonds and Brown. 803 Hitman said, I bet Edmonds will have a surprise re-sign after this season. He about to turn up. Literally, 803 Hitman. I did not read that comment when I said he's only 26. He knocks it out the park like I think, and bada bing, bada bang, 3-year deal. Let's go. Pete says Sidney Brown and the new Ethereum. I got you. Frederick said, hopefully we trade for Buda Baker. Then it will be Buda Baker and Edmonds. Hey, I'll never say no to a Buda Baker trade for sure, but I do like the potential. Actually, I'm in love, pause, with Sidney Brown's game. I think in Illinois, he wasn't asked to play. I got a stuffy nose out of nowhere. He wasn't asked to play the post safety, but we saw it at the Senior Bowl. And when I saw what he did at the Senior Bowl, I said, what? This guy was great in the box. Sidney Brown's a box safety. But when I saw him play man and post, I said, hey, when you do something good, college coaches use you to your strength, but that doesn't mean he can't do the other thing. And so Sidney Brown will flourish with the Eagles. I think he's our long-term solution. But here's the thing. I'm liking what Reed Blankenship showed me in 4 starts, 10 appearances. I know who Terrell Edmonds is in Pittsburgh, but who is Terrell Edmonds under Sean Desai? I think again, and 3-year deal after this year for Terrell Edmonds means he's a starter. That means who won the job out of Reed Blankenship and Sidney Brown? I honestly believe next to Edmonds, Sidney Brown will be better. Hear me out. I'm not giving up on Reed Blankenship. I like him. LB calls him Battleship. I'm with it. I love it. He can hit. But I think if you're looking at game next to game, let's just say, now if Terrell Edmonds is not who we think he is, then you got Reed Blankenship and Sidney Brown as the future. Young boys. UDFA last year, 3rd round pick this year. But if Terrell Edmonds does notch a contract, well, then it's whoever's better, Reed Blankenship or Sidney Brown. One of them can prove me wrong, possibly. However, I think Brown's game fits nicer with Terrell Edmonds, but we'll see. Once again, we are going right on an hour, 58 minutes live. We talked about signing Yannick Ngakoue. We looked at the ESPN article. Let's pull it up real quick. We need 8 more likes to get to 150. If we can get to 175, y'all the realest of the real. I greatly appreciate it. But let's look real quick. So, what am I doing? So we read the article on SB Nation talking about the Pro Football Focus nearly ranked the Philadelphia Eagles linebacker unit dead last. We were ranked 31st. We talked about all that. We also talked about ESPN News saying that they are suggesting one last offseason roster move for the Philadelphia Eagles. And the roster move was Yannick Ngakoue, who had 9.5 sacks with the Indianapolis Colts. I understand the people that said, whoa. Save the reps for Nolan Smith. And I understand the people who agree with this article. When you are a Super Bowl contender, you can never have too much depth. That doesn't mean he plays over Nolan Smith. He is a safety valve, a rotational piece, just in case, because we have the Super Bowl on our mind. And last but not least, well, this was second, we talked about what Brandon Graham said about one of the Philly dogs, Nolan Smith. He said, that Nolan Smith reminds him of himself. He got a lot of BG in him. He has the attributes of Haason Reddick. He got the underdog mindset of Reddick and BG. He's training with Von Miller. The dude don't take no days off. Constant professional. And when you hear somebody say he's the Jalen Hurts of the defensive player, like, that's just crazy crediting. Crazy crediting. But Nolan Smith has earned it in the small time in the NFL. OTAs are done. Let me take off. Nah, he's right back at it with his idol, Von Miller. So there's some good stuff. For June 21st, the Eagles still got some good news flowing for sure. Let's pull up the chat. I see my guy Warv with another $5 super chat. Let's play the Eagles chant. 3, 2, 1.
EAGLES Eagles!
We just got 150 likes too. Shout out to y'all. My guy Warv said, yeah, it seems like all our safeties are box safeties. So I wonder who's going to be the deep safety. True. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying Terrell Edmonds can't do it at all. Reed can't do it at all. Sidney can't do it at all. I think that Sidney's going to be I think Sidney can do it pretty good. Reed, I would have to see. Reed did it a little bit last year. When Reed Blankenship came in for C.J. Gardner-Johnson, he did it. He switched on and off. Marcus Epps came in the box sometimes. Reed played back. Reed came in the box. Marcus Epps played back. And Terrell Edmonds in his 4-year career with the Pittsburgh Steelers did it too. I just think they all are better at that. So it's going to be interesting. And again, we can't forget Justin Evans and Kayvon Wallace. We'll see. But I like our DB coach. Well, we got a new one now, so let's see how he does. But Sidney Brown has that mindset that whatever he strives to learn, looks like it's going to come into fruition. I like the dog mentality. Again, did you ever hear his story? He grew up with a twin brother. His twin brother was a running back. He's a safety. When you have a twin, when you're both trying to get to the NFL, that is constant competition. Now, growing up in high school, you played a lot of different positions. Josh Sweat was a punter and a tight end in high school. My man Josh Sweat caught a one-hand grab like, yo, go check it out on the YouTube shorts. Anyways, when your brother is the same age, same build, same height probably, and he want to be in the NFL, and he's trying to play these positions, and you're trying to play these positions, I bet you Sidney Brown played some running back and wide receiver when he was young. His brother probably played some safety and blah, blah, blah when he was young. But the both make the NFL. I think his brother was drafted in the 5th round. He was drafted in the 3rd round. Hey, shout out to them. We got another super chat from my guy JB Warnock 1 with the MVP super chat, a $10 banger.
EAGLES Eagles!
Once again, appreciate the super chat. He said, Philly Mike the GOAT, are you streaming tomorrow night for the NBA draft party? Hunting Park in his house. Gotta check my schedule, to be honest. I took a lot of my schedule has been impacted. A lot of stuff I've been putting off because of basketball season and because of the heavy off season for the Eagles. All the great stuff, right? April, May, June, early part of June. So I got some stuff I got to take care of, but we going to see. Once again, shout out to my guy JB with the $10 super chat. We've been live for about an hour and 4 minutes. Appreciate y'all. We still got 167 in the building. Hit that like button if you haven't done it. It's free. It's easy. It don't cost a thing, and it's greatly appreciated. And listen, that bell by the subscribe button is huge. You could have been rocking with us in the beginning or the middle. If you're just getting in here now, all you got to do is hit the button. And make sure y'all keep your eyes open for the YouTube shorts. We're telling stories, behind-the-scenes stories, this, that, and the third. Doing it the right way so YouTube doesn't kill me. But some cool edits. Some cool cutscenes. Learned a couple things. I did a Josh Sweat's underrated. We talked about what I think he's going to do in 2023, but I'll also let you know about his high school days, catching, Odell Beckhams and whatnot. So we going to stay tuned for that. Talked about the Nolan Smith, what's his name? Von Miller stuff. But once again, I appreciate y'all. AC said people always forget about injuries. You can never have too many good players. We've been very fortunate the last couple years. That is 100% true. I like what Nick Sirianni's been doing to keep us healthy, but we definitely got to prepare for that. Scoob, dude, what's going on? He said nieces and nephews. I got twins. Shout out to Scoob. You love that. My cast will appear basketball season very soon. April, May, June. Hey, shout out to my guy Scoob. Zach said, did you get a new camera, Philly Mike? No, but I got new lighting. New lighting. It's not a green screen no more. It's a blue screen back here. New lighting so I could wear a black shirt, not a white shirt. And you can see a little bit of the, you know what I mean? Green screen, blue screen through my hat. But look, Midnight Green, Kelly Green, link is pinned in the comment section. Get your Philly dog stuff. Spa, City Chop, appreciate you. Peace said at seasons upon us. Bitcoin, escape the rat race, go Philly Mike. Hey, shout out to my guy Pete. WFO said, bruh, got to get that hat. That's fire. I'm getting two of them again. Kelly Green, Midnight Green. PTP on the side, let you know it came from Philly Talk Podcast. Look, you got, what's it called? It's Kelly Green underneath. Philly dog. Get yours. Snapback. We also have it in trucker, and we also have it in dad cap too. Appreciate y'all. Until next time. Y'all know what time it is. Hit the like, subscribe, check out the YouTube shorts, and we are out. Peace.